A lot of people blind buy shoes. Like we see, you buy it online, you don't try it on, and then you're in hell after. This product broke me out. This is going to be so controversial because I know that the girlies swear okay, by this product. I was also complaining to you guys that I had white spots on my nails. I can confirm now that this is the culprit. You're wasting a lot of money if you're ignoring refill pouches and buying full bottles or full jars of a product every single time you need to get it. A part of me honestly couldn't believe that this was not working because it has benzoyl peroxide and benzoyl peroxide works for me. I just couldn't believe that it wasn't working. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about things that I regret buying. I'll be sharing with you guys 10 items to be precise that I regret spending my money on, okay? And I think this video is going to be a bit helpful for people who are, one, a bit indecisive when it comes to some of the products that I'm going to be talking about in this video, or people who are looking for very specific reviews when it comes to specific products. A lot of the thing, not a lot, okay? All the things that I'm going to be sharing in this video, they are all my personal opinion. I think I need to say that. And me also saying that I did not like some of the things that I do not like does not mean that people who like them, that anything is wrong with them. We're also different and we all experience products differently or experience things differently. And sometimes I rely on the experience of people who are very similar to me to finalize buying decisions. Okay, these are going to be things that I just know that I would have been better off if I never spent a dime on them. So let's get into it. The first product that I have on my list is going to be cleansing oils. And to be precise, special shout out to the... Are you trying to fight me? Because you know that I'm about to put you on the spot. First product is going to be the Anua cleansing oil. This product went so viral in 2024. Everybody and their mamas were talking about it. And unfortunately, I was in a very delicate, vulnerable place around the time that I gave this product a try. My skin was just acting up and I was trying to figure out ways to just fix it, include new things, stop using certain things. And I came across reviews of this particular product. Everyone was talking about it. And this wasn't just a social media thing. I knew people in real life who had also seen the same things that I was seeing and decided to give this product a go. Okay. And the craziest thing for me right now, thinking back, is that this product was targeted at people with oily skin, people who are prone to breakouts. This product broke me out. To cut the long story short, I used it for about 2 weeks and it left my skin worse than it met it. Thinking about it now, like it was so obvious from the videos that I had seen that this product would end up doing what it did to my skin to me, but it didn't really feel like that when I was watching all these videos. I saw people using this product to kind of cleanse their face, massage it into the skin, and they were just coming off with blackheads and whiteheads, and that is not normal. That you use the product every single day to double cleanse and every single time it brings out all the gunk in your pores. That's not how pores work. What it did do was it put things into my pores. For some reason, it did the opposite of what it was doing for the others. Instead of removing the things in my pores, it put things inside mine. And I got a lot of clogged pores, closed comedones. And these closed comedones and breakouts were popping up in parts of my face where I typically would not have them. When I break out, I would break out in my T-zone. But I was breaking out around my chin, places where I typically don't break out. And it was because this was going there and doing what it wasn't supposed to do. This product has worked for some people. I really want to stress that because I don't think that everybody's lying. But I would say before you try oil cleansers, if you're acne prone, consider micellar water first. There's so many brands that do good micellar water. The two brands, however, that I have tried and I trust their micellar water will be Bioderma. Bioderma has a micellar water for acne prone skin, and La Roche-Posay also has an Effaclar one for acne prone skin. If you're trying to double cleanse, before you jump on the oil cleansing bandwagon, try micellar water for double cleansing instead of oil cleansers, because this broke me out and I wish I never fell for the hype or spent my money on it. It was just such a big letdown, especially thinking about how excited I was before I got it. Try micellar water just so that you don't end up experiencing what I did. Okay, to be safe, try micellar water first. Another thing that I regret doing from the depths of my soul would be buying full-sized packages of products that I wanted to try for the first time. And this is such a big thing in the beauty community most of the time. You see something, you see a makeup item, you see someone use it, you love it. And I'm saying this as someone who reviews products. Even if I am the one reviewing it, guys, if you want to buy it, check first and confirm to see if the brand has travel size packaging. If they have travel size packaging, always start from travel size packaging. And I say this as someone who lives in a place where we typically don't have access to testers. And if I'm going to be blind buying anything, even if it's perfume, start with the smallest bottles. If it has 100 ml, check if they have 50 ml, check if they have 30 ml. Consider that first. To emphasize my point, these are some of the beauty products that I have bought recently. If you guys can see, they are all travel sized packaging, like the smallest version of these products. For example, these are my one size powders. These are the smallest ones. These are 2 setting sprays that went viral last year. Read the reviews, decided to get them, got the smallest version that they had in store. Even the Deinfluencing blurring balm, I remember that I got a full-size version before I even got this one. And guys, I'm so happy that I got a small version of this, and I'm going to explain why later. But basically, even in situations where you have access to testers, if you have to try the product, use it over a period of time, especially if it's something that goes on your skin that could possibly break you out, cause irritation, not work properly, just start with a small package if they have that. Don't go spend money on the big items first. You guys know the amount of full-size products that I have that I'll never touch again, and it's because I got them full-size from excitement and they didn't just work out. So consider travel-sized first. The third thing that I regret doing, it might sound a bit ridiculous as advice to some people depending where you are in your life, because I remember around the time that I started getting this advice, I thought it was a bit ridiculous because I'm like, you guys are asking me to spend money that I don't have. I can't afford this thing that you guys are asking me to get. But thinking back at it now, if I had done certain things right, I could easily afford those things. And I know that we always feel like certain things are not attainable, but the problem is actually that we're not thinking about them the right way. And basically, what am I saying? Number 3 is that I regret spending money on cheap jewelry. So basically jewelry that isn't made from precious metals or made with precious metals. Honestly, I regret it so much because where are they? I don't know where those things are. First of all, your skin can even get really sensitive to some of these cheap things because you don't even know what type of metal they are made with. There's a reason why sometimes when you put earrings that you've bought from fast fashion stores in your piercings, like they start acting up. You don't even know what's in these things, okay? And I used to be such a big doer of this. Like I love to get jewelry from ASOS. I love to get jewelry from AliExpress. I love to get jewelry from Amazon. I love to buy jewelry from these places. And before you know it, the color will just change. Sometimes if they even come in contact with like your perfumes and stuff, they will change. They can irritate your skin. All of that. And I just kept on buying them when I did because I was like, I cannot afford to buy anything more expensive than this. But thinking about the fact that sometimes I would buy about 4 to 5 packs of these things. And sometimes if you look at the 4 to 5 packs, this was like years ago. Maybe they could average, 4 to 5 packs could average about $100, depending on where you buy it from. You can use that $100 to buy a stud, like a gold stud, like real gold stud, depending on the weight, and still have it till this day. So I was doing that honestly because I didn't know better. That's the honest to God truth. And so I'm telling you guys, especially if you are in your 20s and you are trying at this point to grow a stash when it comes to jewelry, actually start setting money aside or start saving up to invest in the more expensive stuff. Your older self is going to thank you for that. So buy real silver, real gold if you see them. And this even applies to the big fashion houses. If you're not buying from the houses that specialize in jewelry, like VCA, maybe Cartier, Bulgari, or I don't know, there are probably others, but yeah, if it's not like those type of houses, even with these houses, there's a big question mark when it comes to them, right? But for the other brands that specialize in leather goods and fashion items, so like you're saying Fendi, Valentino, they have jewelry sections, they have fine jewelry, but these things are gold plated most of the time. They're not real gold. You're better off buying real gold because honestly, you're buying it for the same amount of money. And if I knew better, I would never have done that. Like never. And not only would I not have done that, I could also have saved a lot of money. Okay. The fourth thing would be subscriptions. for things that I know that I don't use as much. I used to do this thing back in the day where I would pay subscriptions for things, hoping that the subscription would convince me to use them more than I was already using whatever it is. A typical example would be a gym membership subscription. Before I got to know myself, I'm not necessarily a gym girly, guys. I work out, but I prefer to work out other ways outside of the gym. But early on, I didn't know this, and I thought that if I wasn't working out in the gym, then I wasn't doing enough. And I'll do this thing where I'll trap myself with subscriptions. The money is going, I'm not using it, and at the end of the day, I've just wasted the money. I was even better off if I knew better, just paying a trainer consistently and never stepping foot into a gym. I would pay, but I would hardly ever actually show up there. Again, this applies to digital subscriptions, sometimes TV subscriptions. Like, I remember growing up, it used to be courtesy to always have something for your guests to watch. Like when I was much younger, it was like people used to come to your house and look at photo albums. And by the early 2000s, it's like it was a DSTV subscription, so that when guests came, there was something for them to watch. And I was never a TV person, to be honest. I prefer to read books. And when I first started living on my own, I'll do this thing where I would pay a subscription for DSTV, knowing fully well that I hardly ever watch TV, but hoping that the subscription would motivate me to watch TV. A lot of us do this, and you're wasting money. Okay, there are many options now when it comes to TV that is not just satellite TV. So you have the option of even maybe paying for Netflix or just the ones that just stream, digital streaming services. But guys, do not pay for subscriptions that you know that you're not really committed to whatever it is that it gives you access to. There's no point. You're just going to keep wasting money. And I used to waste money like this before I just woke up one day and just slapped myself in the face. I was like, why are you doing this? And I stopped. Okay? Subscriptions. Number 5 is going to be so controversial. So controversial because I know that this is a cult favorite, this product, but these are the Deinfluencing blurring balms. Okay, these are what are they called again? I just want to make sure that I'm not messing up the name. Yeah, blurring balm powders. First, I got this big size, you guys can see, and I got this in a particular shade. Honestly, I used this and I just felt like my skin was a lot more greasy at the end after I used this. I went on social media, saw all these recommendations on the best way to use this product. Even saw people saying that, oh, this doesn't work on its own. You have to mix it with the water powder serum. This is the water powder serum in case you don't know what it looks like. And I tried this all the ways that it is recommended. The last thing I even did was to get the universal one, the one that doesn't have any shade, like the colorless one. This one is white. The same thing. Not only would this make my face or skin a lot more greasy, it would also clog my pores. This product broke me out. And like I said, this is going to be so controversial because I know that the girlies swear, okay, by this product. But what actually is my ride or die, not this one, is this. This is the water powder serum. You guys can see that I'm almost out. This is what keeps my oil at bay. This is what I have on my face right now. The universal blurring balm powder did nothing for me. It broke me out. And so just like I gave you guys a slight warning for the cleansing oils, if you have acne prone skin, you have to be very careful with this. I know it works for some people, but you have to be very careful. And if you do want to give this a try, because I know that this works for some people with oily skin still, start out with a small one. Get the really small one, try it and make sure first that this small one works for you before you commit to a bigger one, because these are not cheap either. Next items on my list are designer shoes. And I think that designer shoes are a bit of a touchy subject for me. And I know that some people feel very strongly about them. But it's one of those things that actually, if I'm thinking about it critically, I still don't even understand what the hype is. If it comes to expensive leather goods, I would always go for bags. For example, I think that bags are a much better option, especially if they are made with good leather. I'm not saying that some of these shoes are not made with good leather, but the thing is, I feel like sometimes it's like you spend money on something that would cause you so much pain. And so what is the point of showing up in public being extremely uncomfortable wearing certain things? And just like I said, about testers earlier, when it came to product sizing, I would say, please do not even buy designer shoes at all without trying them on. A lot of people blind buy shoes. Like we see, you buy online, you don't try it on, and then you're in hell after. And you have to convince yourself that they look good and they're expensive. So you force yourself to wear them. Before my wedding, I only had one pair of heels from a designer brand, and it was Amina Muadi. And even that one, I bought it because I had tried it on first. My friend Chrissy is a similar shoe size to me, and I tried hers. It felt really comfortable, and she kept on going on about how comfortable the Amina Muadis were, so I got them. And during the wedding period, there was this insane pressure, thinking about it now, from a lot of people that were involved in the process. Also, some people that I knew who were like, oh, it's your wedding, is super special. You have to make sure that your shoes are like expensive. And these shoes, I didn't even wear them for more than an hour or so. I remember that the white wedding shoes, actually, I didn't even wear them to the church because at a point, I just decided that, oh, my dress would cover it and I didn't wear it. So why did I buy it? Because of how uncomfortable it ended up being at the end of the day, that was why. I have some Jimmy Choos. Like, this one is from a brand called Alexander Berman. These shoes are so cute. And I wear them sometimes, but every time I wear them, I kiss my teeth because I'm like, this is so annoying, okay? So annoying. I got this during the wedding time and the same thing. I also have a Jimmy Choo here. Got this again for the wedding. The same thing. To be fair, I found that Jimmy Choo shoes are a bit more on the comfortable side, but this is not for people with like wide feet. It's so narrow to like, sometimes these people make shoes for people who look a certain way. If you are tall, the way that your weight is distributed down your body also kind of impacts how comfortable some shoes are for you. But then I just feel like you shouldn't be spending money on shoes that you're not going to wear. I also just think that you have to try them on before you pay for them, because outside of that, what's the point? Shoes can also you can just walk out of your house and the heel will break, the leather will tear, you know? If you have money for designer items, I'll say consider the bigger leather goods before the shoes. I regret buying a lot of the shoes that I bought for my wedding. Yeah, I feel like sometimes we feel this pressure and we feel like, oh, if we are not wearing certain brands when it comes to certain events, then like something is missing. What I think you should do, however, is to be loyal to the brands that give you comfort. Sometimes I just wonder how different I would feel now if I had just ended up buying some Topshop shoes around my wedding period. Topshop, from my experience, their heels tend to be very comfortable for me. I regret spending money on these. Your shoes also don't have to be super expensive for your big day. Please just take it from someone who has experienced this. You should prioritize comfort. Shoes also come and go style-wise sometimes. The cheaper ones are just as good. So number 7 is a bit niche and very unique to content creators. But if you are someone who is looking to invest in cameras and lenses and you have a Sony camera, and you're trying to get a lens that would fit or work with this Sony camera, I would highly recommend that you buy Sony lenses. So if you're a Sony user, buy Sony lenses to go with Sony cameras. Avoid the Sigma Sony pairing. In the very beginning, when I first started using Sony cameras, I bought 2 Sigma lenses because they were just cheaper, actually. Price was what it was. They were cheaper, but the quality reduction is not worth it. It gives you very washed out image quality compared to what you would get with a Sony. I would insert a side-by-side clip here to show you guys what I am saying. It's not the same. I remember the first time that I actually paired a Sony lens with my Sony camera. I could not believe how different it was. It gives, I don't know, okay? Unless you're someone who is you intend to do extensive color grading, which a lot of creators are honestly also not interested in, then it could work for you. But if you're also very big on the immediate quality you get just after you finish recording, just save up or wait a little bit and get a Sony lens. Trust me, you will be so happy that you heard this if you do this. The Sigma pairings is it's too blown out, too washed out. I don't think that is worth it. So one thing I really, really regret is buying Sigma lenses heavily in the very beginning. Funny enough, it's not as bad for the Sigma lenses that I pair with my Canon camera. The pairing Sigma to Canon is not as bad. In my opinion, what you get Sigma with Sony. Unless things have changed now with some of their newer lenses, but some of the ones that I own, I would highly recommend that you be careful. The next thing that I regret doing is repeatedly buying bottles or jars of products when the brand actually offered refills. And in some cases, I actually knew that there was like a refill option. But then in my mind, I was just like, oh, just give me a brand new bottle. I don't think that we are actually aware just how much brands charge us for packaging when it comes to the unit price of individual products. Refills are much cheaper. A typical example is this. This is my go-to cleanser for my face. This is the La Roche-Posay Effaclar gel cleanser, and it comes in this bottle here. And what I used to do is every time I run out, I'll just go buy this. There are refills, and I got this in PR recently, just with them informing me that they now have refills here in Nigeria. But before this launched, I had stopped buying this product here. I would rely on, so I have a shipper, I use Beltalk Cargo. I'll just buy the refills and send it to Beltalk Cargo. Or I would also do this thing where if a friend or family member is coming back from any of the countries where the refills were sold first, I will just get the refills. Guys, you're wasting a lot of money if you're ignoring refill pouches and buying full bottles or full jars of a product every single time you need to get it. It's a lot of money that you're giving to them. Don't do that. Buy the refill option if you have the option for refill. And there's so many brands that have this option. Number 9 on my list will be these right here. And what are these? These are the SC Gel Couture nail polishes. I talked to you guys about these last year. Even did a haul showing you guys some of my favorite shades. It's marketed as long lasting. It is long lasting. Honestly, it is one of the more long lasting nail polishes that I have ever used. It's not the fastest drying, but it is long lasting. However, I also remember that around the time that I shared this, I was also complaining to you guys that I had white spots on my nails. And I was like, does anyone know why I have these white spots? I was asking, and I think a couple of people said something in the comments. To be honest, I can't remember. I can confirm now that this is the culprit. It doesn't make my nails brittle. It doesn't do any crazy, ridiculous thing. But thinking about it now and knowing that there's also Dazzle Dry, 2 of these, right, can give me 1 Dazzle Dry, almost actually nail polish. If I had known what I know now, I would have just spent that money on Dazzle Dry, because at least I don't have this issue with Dazzle Dry. Guys, these will give you white spots on your nails. I don't know what it is in the formula. Toes, fingers, having the same issue consistently, to the point that it started making it very difficult for me to wear sheer polishes. So, you know, sometimes there are polishes that they are a bit sheer, even with 2 coats, and it's not a bad thing because you love the milky sheer look. I stopped being able to do that because I had these white spots, not knowing that these were giving me white spots. These are very popular too in the influencer community, if you're in the nail community. So just be very careful. I would say start with 1, because we all have different nail types. Start with 1, try it, see how your nail looks after you've used it consistently, and then decide whether or not you get more colors. I wish I had done that. The final thing that I have on my list would be this CeraVe benzoyl peroxide foaming wash, or something, cream wash, that you have here on the screen. And there are a couple of products that my skin responds well to, being acne prone. Salicylic acid is one of them, and benzoyl peroxide is one of them. A couple of them also work, but these are the 2 main ones. And when I ran out of my benzoyl peroxide gel from the brand that I typically get it from, which is acne.org, I switched to this. And guys, this did nothing. Like, when I say it did nothing, it did nothing. I'm really stressing this because I feel like sometimes when we see benzoyl peroxide, we do not understand sometimes that formulation matters. My issue with CeraVe in general, with some of their products that I've tried, is that they contain a lot of ceramides, which is clearly, it's stated, right, in the packaging. But sometimes we don't really even understand that the humectants of some of the things that they have in them makes it so that the products don't give you the results that you need sometimes. And I'm saying this to say that if you're someone who has tried this, and this is the first and only benzoyl peroxide product that you've ever tried, and you feel like it did nothing for your acne, please consider trying a benzoyl peroxide gel, and make sure that you then pair it with a good moisturizer that is oil-free. This product, and I bought about 4, because a part of me honestly couldn't believe that this was not working, because it has benzoyl peroxide and benzoyl peroxide works for me. I just couldn't believe that it wasn't working. But the formulation is why it's not working. And so for anyone who is curious or interested or wants to give benzoyl peroxide a go as an active when it comes to their routine, this honestly I would not recommend. I don't think that it was worth it. So yeah, these are the products that honestly, hand to my chest, I regret spending my money on. I would not recommend them. From a review perspective, I feel like I would have been better off trying something else. So if you're someone who is just trying to come to a decision, yeah, these are my thoughts. Think about some of the things that I've talked about and just be cautious, okay? I feel like I wasted so much money and I could have saved so much money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to me if you're not yet subscribed. I love you guys and I'll see you in my next one.